Hey next door app neighbors, Mario here again. How are you? You know, now that winter's here, some of us are going to run into a problem getting our vehicle started. And a lot of that time it comes down to the battery not being strong enough in this weather to basically provide you enough amperage to get your vehicle up and running. You know, a lot of people confuse the fact that they have a cord that they plug their vehicle in at night and assume that that covers everything. Well, that's basically a block heater, and what that's going to do, it's going to keep your fluids from becoming too thick, so that when you do try to turn the engine over, it makes it a little easier to get those parts moving. However, it does absolutely nothing for your battery. Now, if you've got an older battery or a battery that's got some kind of a fault in it, you're going to discover real quick that when you get to trying to start it, you're going to get and some clicking, and then all of a sudden your battery is done. So you're going to be looking for a boost. Now, if you have an AMA membership, great. Be aware though that when it gets extreme like this or storm conditions come, you're in for a long wait. You're looking for 4, 6. I've seen 16 and 48 hour waits over the years. You can't afford to do that. It's different if you're sitting at home and your car is in your driveway, but if you're at work or if you're at a mall and you don't have anybody around to boost you, you're going to leave your vehicle. You're going to hope that somehow, some way, you meet up with people that are going to give you a boost from the AMA. And believe me, they don't give you a lot of heads up saying we're coming. So you're in a position you have to look after yourself. So what would we do? So I've got a couple items here that I'm going to show you that allow you to get yourself out of trouble and get that vehicle started and get it home, and hopefully your day gets better from that point on. So let's have a look and see what we've got. The first item I want to talk to you about is it's a product called Genius Boost, and they make a variety of sizes depending on the vehicle that you have. I purchased the one called the GB40, and that is good for engines up to 6 liters in size, which will cover most of your vehicles that are out there right now. Now, if you've got pickup trucks and that type of thing, you want to go for a higher rated one. They do make additional ones. So in this case, we're going to look at the GB40. The last I checked, we're in at about $160 for this piece. Now, it might seem pricey outwardly, but really, if you start to look at the costs of getting a boost, or even the trouble, you know, that you can have trying to get a boost, it's a really good investment. It may be hard to tell how small this is, but I'm going to show you. This is my cell phone here, and if we take a look at the phone, you can have a look that, you know, other than the thickness, we're basically talking something the size of you know, 6.5 inch phone. So this is very compact, easy to store, and super easy to work with. You get a little carrying bag with the unit, and it's a little bag with a drawstring on here, and everything fits in here quite nicely. So, you know, it's not an item that's going to take up a lot of room in your trunk or in your glove compartment. This can sit all winter in your vehicle all year round. I keep one in each vehicle quite simply because you never know when you're going to need a boost. And let me tell you, not only in the winter time, but in the summertime when I had a battery fail on me in the middle of nowhere, this thing got me started and out of trouble. So they're rated for approximately 20 starts. They have a safety feature built in so that you can't cross the cables and spark them, because a spark on a boost can cause some real problems on your vehicle. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And the operation really couldn't be simpler. You push the power button and it comes on and gives you a bunch of indicator lights. This is really just how full the unit is. This tells you that it's on, and when you see the next video outside, you're going to see the boost light come on, indicating that it's ready to boost. There's also a trouble light that comes on that tells you if there's something wrong with the unit itself, which this is now my 3rd year with this type of product, and I haven't had an issue with it. Charging it is very simple. You're going to get a cable which is the same as you would use for your phone. You're going to use a USB cable and plug it in. You don't get a charger with it, so I just use an old one that I have here, a charging block. I mean, most people have these flying around the house anyway, so you know, don't be too worried if you don't get one with it. It does come with a manual, which is relatively comprehensive, but you know, out of all these pages, there's about 3 that are in English, and really it gets pretty easy after that. So when we go to use it, as you'll see in the outdoor video, it's a simple matter of taking the unit, plugging in your cable end, your clamped end, attaching it to the battery, turning the unit on. It doesn't get easier than that. And let me tell you that, you know, again, this has got me out of a lot of trouble. I would wait, you know, anywhere from 20 seconds to a minute before you attempt your first start. And typically it is more than enough to get it going. Now, if it doesn't go on the first time, don't keep trying to start. Let it sit with the clamps on in the on position and wait a minute, a full minute. And then go ahead and try your second attempt. The reason we do that is because, like all electronics, when you start overusing them, you can have an issue with them. So the best thing to do is hook it up, wait 20 to 40 seconds for your first attempt, try your start, wait another minute, and have a minute in between each and every start. This is available through Amazon. You can buy them. I bought this one at Canadian Tire, actually. So there's a number of places, and I'll put a link in my posting that will show you a couple of examples where to get it. Now, there certainly are other brands. I haven't tried them. Look at the reviews on the internet and see what you think. I think they're all going to be within the same price range. For the most part, they only get so cheap, but this is an investment for you, and it's something you can hang on to for years and years. Now we're going to take a look at keeping your battery in condition during the winter time, or if you have a vehicle that doesn't run an awful lot, given the fact that we have to deal with COVID now, many of you aren't driving very often, so your vehicle is going to sit and sit. And that is really hard on the battery. It takes its toll on your battery, and you'll be replacing it a lot sooner than you might think. On the colder days, a lot of people plug a block heater in. I don't actually have a block heater in either of my vehicles. I'm not too concerned because typically they're relatively well maintained and they do start when I need them to. What worries me is the condition of the battery. A block heater takes care of fluids and makes that easier to flow through the system, but your battery is still at risk. So what I like to do, especially in the cold weather, is I like to get one of these units and plug them in. Now, this is made again by the same people that made the Genius Boost. This is called a GeniusOne, and this is a high-tech trickle charger. And what that does, it takes a low voltage. You plug this into a wall outlet, and it takes a low voltage, and it monitors the condition of your battery with these lights, and it's smart enough to know when to send a trickle charge, which is basically small amounts of electricity, to your battery, and when not to. And by determining that and sending a flow when required, especially on the cold days, it will keep your battery in prime condition so that when you do go outside to start, your battery is at peak performance instead of sitting all night long or for a week and your battery is not that strong, and discovering that now you need a boost. So these run in about the $55 range, and again, this particular one, the GeniusOne, is suitable for most cars. A larger vehicle like a large pickup truck will require a different model, a different version of this. And this is a really smart unit. Once it's clamped onto the battery, this set of lights will show you that it knows what type of battery it's plugging into, because there are different types of batteries and there are also different voltages of batteries. So it is smart enough to know what it has been plugged into. When it's charging or sending a trickle charge, this will be red. When it's done, it will be green. But you leave it on all the time. You do not take this off once it's green, unless of course you're driving and you need to. But this is going to continually monitor your battery, especially in the winter months, to make sure that it's to capacity and that it's in prime condition. And if you read their advertising, they actually talk about taking old batteries and bringing them back to life. Now, whether they do or don't, I don't know. I haven't gotten to that point. I do know one of my vehicles had a really old battery that I should have replaced a long time ago, and it sat and died, and when I used this on it after about 3 days, the battery was like new again and held its charge. So there is that. So simple to use. We plug this into a wall outlet. On one end of this cable, we have a receptacle that's going to take the clamping system, and we're just going to clamp that together. Then, just like any time you work with a battery, you're going to have a red and a black clamp, and you put them on the appropriate terminals on your battery. Red to red, black to black, plug it into the wall. That's it. You have to do nothing after that. It can sit for weeks, months, a year, it doesn't really matter. It's never going to overcharge your battery. A lot of the older trickle systems actually overcharged your batteries and did damage to them. This has got intelligent circuitry in it where it won't do that. So, you know, tonight we're looking at minus 35 here. This is going to be on my car, and the only time it comes off in this cold weather is when I go to actually drive the vehicle. So this is another nice option to ensure that when you get into your car, especially on these cold days, your battery is going to be in prime condition, and you're not going to have any problems. So here we are, minus 32 wind chill, and I'm not loving it. Let's hook up some equipment and boost the vehicle. You know, these Genius boosters are super simple to use, and you can get yourself out of a lot of trouble, not have to wait for a tow truck or a friend to boost you with cables. Once you take it out of the bag, you're going to find that you've got a set of jumper cables, black and red, which match, of course, the terminals on your battery. Then we take out the piece itself. It's a very small piece, as you can see, and there's not a lot to using this, so we're going to pop the one end off, which has a receptacle end, and we're going to take the end of the jumper cables, we're going to plug that into that end. So this is the setup that you wind up with. Nice and short, easy to use. The nice thing is, when this is on, you can't spark. That spark you get from a booster cable can be dangerous. These will not spark, it's built-in protection. We'll turn it off for a moment. We're going to hook up the red jumper to your red terminal on your battery, the black jumper to your black terminal, and then we're going to take the booster itself and we're just going to turn the power on. And you'll see there'll be some lights flashing, and you may hear some clicking. Wait about 20 to 40 seconds to let some of the charge get into the battery. Once that time's gone by, jump in the car and attempt to start. If it doesn't start the first time, don't keep hammering on it. Wait a minute, because you can warm these up to the point of not working if you just keep cranking and cranking. They're good for 20 starts, so you're not in a rush. So if you want to wait a minute or so for the battery to charge up, that's just fine. You'll see indicator lights flashing here, and then just telling you that it's ready to go. If I was to have a problem with the battery now and try to turn it over, my car will attempt to start. So they're very simple to use. And like I say, you do get a total of 20 attempts at it. It's really that simple. When you're done, you turn it off, take off your terminals, put the whole thing back in the bag, and you're ready for the next time. I keep one of these in my car year-round. It takes a standard wall cube like you have for your phone to charge it, and I have it sit in the vehicle for a year, and it was still at 3/4 charge. If I check it now, you can see that it's got a full charge. So this is the indicator that shows you the charge. The second one behind the green, or the one behind the green one here, is the 75% mark, which is what it was after a whole year of sitting in my trunk. So there's still a lot of power in here. And don't forget that if you're, if you're in a situation you need some light, it also has a built-in flashlight to make life a lot easier. And you can actually charge your phone with this very same unit, believe it or not, by using the ports on the back. One of these ports is for charging the Genius booster itself. The other one is plugging a USB cable into it, and you can actually charge your phone off it. So it doesn't really get a lot easier than that. It's a nice, small, convenient package, and it's a good investment if you're looking to ensure that you don't have to wait for help when trouble hits. This is probably the best way to go. Genius car booster. Let me know if you have any questions. This is a GeniusOne, and it's really easy to hook up. It's going to condition your battery and keep it in prime condition. So we're going to do a couple things here, and that's we're going to take our red cable and hook that onto the red terminal like so. And we're going to take our black cable and hook it up to the black terminal like so. You're going to have a wall wart that you need to plug in. In this case, I'm just using a little extension cord, and we're going to plug it in. And we're going to see that now there's some lights that did come on, and there's one light that is indicating that we're hooked into a 12-volt battery. And if you can see that, the red light has just come on, and that is charging. There's a slow pulse to it. So what's going to happen is this will continually send a trickle, condition your battery, keep it in good shape. When it's done, it's going to change green, but you don't unplug it because it knows when to come back on and off, especially in cold weather. It's going to send the appropriate amount of current to keep this battery in prime condition. That's all there is to it. Your battery should be in good shape after that. So it's that simple to help yourself when you need it. I realize that there's some cost involved, but when you start to look at the cost of your vehicle either having to be towed, or you know, if you're not an AMA member, you're going to have to pay for a boost, which I believe starts at about $125. This is a really good investment, and as you saw in the video, I keep it in my car year round, and I charge it maybe once a year, and even after sitting in the trunk for all that time, it was still at a 75% capacity, which will certainly get me out of trouble. So hopefully both these items are something that you can make use of. And keep safe, stay warm, and we'll see you around the neighborhood. Take care.